Hi, Miss Lila. Hope you're doing well. I just realized I watched many of your videos the last couple of months, but I only now put the name together in my mind as I watched the videos of your previous model. Don't know why it took me so long. I'm glad I finally get to see you live. Welcome in. Thank you for checking me out. Most people don't, so I really appreciate it. I know that not everyone likes Twitch's UI compared to YouTube. I know it can be quite a change, so I appreciate it. In fact, I'm going to be making reaction videos soon with my new model. For those who don't know, I had a big year this year in terms of health. I had a really big diagnosis earlier this year. I had this genetic condition that I was suffering from a very long time. And it's very difficult to diagnose. So it got misdiagnosed for a long time, but they finally figured it out and I feel a lot better, and I'm hoping that all my future content is even better for it because I feel a lot better in every single way. What's down here? But yeah, I definitely needed this year to recover from that because it should have been medicated like instantly, like as soon as I was born. So that's a lot of time to recover from. I'm actually very lucky because some people with my condition don't make it this long. So I am very grateful. And I wasn't even initially diagnosed from a doctor either. I had a viewer who is an immunologist who figured it out first. And then I went and was like, hey, could it be this? And they're like, oh yeah, it is. And I was like, great. Good to know my viewers are better doctors than the US healthcare system. Part of that makes me deeply concerned, but hey, I'm just glad to still be here. And I'm glad they figured it out. It's a crazy world. Oh, so this leads back over here. Oh. I assume you don't want to share the condition. Oh, it's hypothyroidism. Subclinical. In a nutshell, it's an energy disorder. My body has a hard time creating, managing, and using energy. It's very inefficient at it. Unfortunately, as you can imagine, that affects every cell and organ in the body. So, like, it really does affect everything. Like your processing, your memory isn't as good, your digestion is slow, your heart is slower than normal. And that's why it can be fatal if you don't treat it. Because if your body slows down enough, it's like you heal very slow. You filter toxins very slow. You breathe very slow. You're producing energy really slow. And at some point, everything's just running so slowly, it can stop, which is terrifying. But thankfully it's very treatable. So there's different kinds of hypothyroidism actually. Like autoimmune is the most common. Mine is genetic. Unfortunately, genetic cases, they do not go away. I don't think autoimmune typically do, but I think sometimes it happens. You can even get it through complications from COVID actually. Or thyroid cancer. And the thyroid's a butterfly-shaped gland in your throat. It's very important for brain development and regulation of your body. Growth and development across the whole body, so it's a really big deal. And if you ever wanted to check just to make sure your thyroid is healthy, you can ask your doctor for a thyroid panel! Ooh, sorry. I didn't mean to do that. And they'll usually test for, I believe it's T3, but you really should get, no, actually they test TSH every year when you get your annual blood test, but what you really need is not just your TSH, but your T3 and your T4. Because sometimes your TSH is normal, but your T3 and T4 isn't, like subclinical. That's what makes it so difficult to diagnose partly, is like they only test this one thing and it's not necessarily indicative of your other levels being good. And sometimes with subclinical, you look clinically healthy, but like you're not actually. Because there's other stuff in your body that's imbalanced. So unfortunately, sometimes it has to get so serious that it shows up in that blood test. And then they're like, oh, now you have it. But it's like, no, you always had it. I just think that our testing isn't very comprehensive, so it misses it a lot of the time. Because I had normal TSH like all my life except for one test. But my other thyroid hormones were not probably normal. And what's also crazy is here in the USA, the Thyroid Association, they made it standard that babies get tested to see if they have hypothyroidism, but they only do the test one time after you're born. And hypothyroidism can fluctuate. So sometimes your level can look normal 1 month and then abnormal the next. So if they just test you once, that's not actually good enough. It's very, very tough. And the other crazy thing too is it's often misdiagnosed as depression or anxiety because it causes a lot of the symptoms of depression and anxiety. In fact, it will cause depression and anxiety and like allergies and a whole bunch of other stuff. And so then people think, oh, I guess I just have all these separate multiple health conditions. But it's like, what if all those things are being caused by one health condition and you're just like treating around the core problem, but you're not actually treating the root of it? You know what I mean? Because that's what happened to me for a long time. They were like, well, your body's normal, so I guess it's all in your head. You should see a psychiatrist about that. And at some point it was just like, no, something's very wrong here, but no one believed me. And that's why I'm so grateful that I was a VTuber, because if I wasn't a VTuber, then a fan wouldn't have figured it out and I would be screwed. Which is so strange. Like, isn't that weird to think that, like, in the USA, the only reason why you might be here if you have a health condition is because, like, you happen to, like, go viral on social media and a whole bunch of people care about you and they happen to, like, piece something together. It's so strange. It should not be that way. And I'm sure I'm not the only one, too. It's crazy. I am very grateful. A lot of people can rightfully say that VTubing saved their life, like mentally and emotionally, but I can say physically it has also. And I hope to make content for a very, very long time. And that is the only way I think I can say thank you. Oh! I did make a video about the condition if you want to learn more about it, but I'm going to be totally honest with you, like, because it's so systemic, there's like probably hundreds of symptoms. Like, it's a pretty dense video, and it doesn't even cover everything because it just affects so many things. You'd have better luck, like, creating a list of things hypothyroidism doesn't cause. I'm so happy to hear that, to be honest. I was on an exploration journey discovering creators through their reactions to Neuro. She was my gateway into VTubing, and I've dived headfirst into this amazing content world. I loved your reactions and I'm so excited to see your new content. Thank you! I really appreciate it. Also, sometimes I say words wrong sometimes because it's part of my processing. I'm sorry if I say a weird word somewhere. Just know that that is a function of my disability. And I'm really glad that you found so many new people through Neuro. Isn't Neuro awesome? It's been a while since I've reacted to her, but I've heard like a lot of changes have happened. And there's a video I don't want to spoil in case anyone's seen it, but there's been some really cute scenes. Oh no, that have come out of Neuro's 3D model. And Neuro being in VR chat with Beetle, and it was really sweet, and I can't wait to see that. Gonza, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Welcome to the tofu. There we go. Now I can get up this ladder. Yeah, as you can imagine, I have been suggesting to people to get checked just to be sure, because hey, listen. Depression and anxiety is so common, and unfortunately I feel like it's kind of been normalized. Like, people are like, oh, everyone has depression and anxiety, so like, who cares? And it's like, no, actually, you know, maybe we're not meant to feel like crap in our bodies and minds 24/7. Like, maybe that is a sign something's wrong, and we've just convinced ourselves we need to suffer when we don't have to. Especially here in the West, I feel like that's such a, oh my gosh, common thing. I think there's a lot of vested interest in keeping people sick, whether it's intentional or not. Doesn't really matter. The impact is there and it's not good. Oh frick! Oh no! Oh no! Woo! Oh no, not you! I thought I got rid of you! Get up the ladder! Get up the ladder! But yeah, I suggest that everyone check up on it, especially because like thyroid hormones, they interact with your other hormones as well. Like it can cause you to have lower testosterone than you should have, or low testosterone. So like, you know, everything in the body is a big ecosystem, and if one thing is a little bleh, sometimes it messes with everything else in really nasty ways. My estrogen is better because of it.
I'm really happy.
Yeah! I'm really happy too. I'm very grateful for you guys. Oh, it's all. Thyroids are definitely a funky gland. My sister and dad both have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Yeah, that's the most common one, Hashimoto's. Discovered in Japan, and it was tied to so many symptoms. It's crazy, dude. Like, I remember growing up and teachers being like, oh, you know, testosterone, estrogen, like, they're just sex hormones. They're not important for anything else. And now the science has updated, and we're like, no, actually they're important for your entire brain and body because you have receptors for them, like, everywhere. And if you have too little of it, or like you have no testosterone or estrogen, those receptors die and you can't get them back. And it's like, dude, hormones are way more important than we thought. And we also... There's some people that are considering turning vitamin D, like reclassifying it as a hormone because of how important it is for the human body. Like, it's crazy. We used to really underestimate the importance of hormones, and I'm glad that we're changing our stance on that, because I am sure a lot of people have suffered unnecessarily because we were like, it's no big deal. It's fine. But the human body is a lot more complicated than we realize. Is there any way to highly suspect it without testing? Well, I mean, you could, for example, look at WebMD's description of hypothyroidism. Last time I checked, I'm pretty sure they have a pretty long list of symptoms. But like depression, anxiety, allergies, you're actually more susceptible to dental issues because you have less saliva production. You may have organ impairment or multiple organ impairment like I did, where, for example, my liver had a hard time filtering anything, like salt, sugar, caffeine, alcohol. I couldn't tolerate any of it, and the worse it got, the less I could tolerate it. Insomnia, like a lot of stuff. You're cold to the touch all the time because your internal temperature lowers. Your body struggles to perform homeostasis, that's temperature regulation. You may be very, very pale. Like, not just white, like ghostly. There's a lot of symptoms. You have such a litany of mental and health problems that you started to make me doubt for a sec. Yeah, it's really difficult. Especially here in the USA, I think a lot of doctors are overworked and stressed out. And unfortunately, if people get stressed out enough, the first emotion to go out the window is empathy. But that's a really important emotion for doctors. Like, if they lose empathy for their patients and they stop listening to them and stuff, like, that's not a good combination. I wish we prioritized doctors' health a lot more so they could do a better job of keeping other people healthy. It's kind of ironic. I'm happy to hear you're healthy. Glad to hear your story as well. Thanks for sharing it. You have my respect and my support for your future. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Trent, hello! Hi, welcome to Stream Space, man. Rimuru, hello, welcome to stream. Oh no, cold-blooded Lila. I kid you not, growing up, I was literally the coldest kid in class. Like, I don't know if you guys experienced this, but we had this game called 7-Up, and everyone would put their heads down on the desk, like eyes down and everything, and just put their thumbs up. And a few students had to push down the thumbs of like one person, each person. Then we go to the front of the room, and every person who had their thumb pressed down had to guess who did it. And everyone always knew it was me because I was the coldest person. It was like death touched them. They always knew it was me. So then I tried to put on gloves to hide it, but then they knew from the texture of gloves it was me. Like, I couldn't win. So I started trying to like warm my hands before I played the game. And it's just one of those little moments that I look back and I'm like, oh, like that's really not normal. But like, I don't know, I just thought I was weird. And so did everyone else, to be fair. So like, it's crazy. Yeah. You can also be very short and have body-wide inflammation. And like for a woman, you tend to develop a deeper voice if you have it for a long time and it's untreated, like I do. So yeah, like it can hide in so many places. It's really crazy. So yeah, I do plan to talk more about hypothyroidism in the future. Because you never know. Diagnoses of hypothyroidism have actually doubled in the past 20 years. Because we're getting so much better at diagnosing it and discussing it. And that makes me really happy. Because what that also tells me, though, is there's a lot of people out there who are suffering from it and they have no idea. They just think they have depression and anxiety and insomnia and all these separate things. And the doctors tell them that, too. So, like, they would never know. But the core problem's getting worse over time. And if it gets severe enough, it can result in heart failure or multiple organ failure. And sometimes people don't come back from that. Like the ER can give you thyroid hormone very quickly if they need to, but like sometimes the damage is so bad or they can't get you to the hospital in time, and it's crazy. That's true. Weird isn't necessarily bad. Unfortunately, like in my case, like I had such low energy that I was practically mute until I was 8 years old. Because I didn't have energy to like process and to speak. Like I remember my classmates having conversations and I would try to keep up, but it would take me like 1 to 5 minutes to generate a response to something. But by that point they moved on to another topic. And so people were like, oh, she's just introverted, like she's just shy. And it's like, no, I was exhausted. And every little function from like speaking, keeping track of social cues and stuff that might be, you know, misdiagnosed as being neurodivergent. Like for me, it was just an energy issue. Like I was just that tired all the time. I've always had occasional swollen lymph nodes in my neck among mood swings, occasional heart palpitations, insomnia, super pale, and particularly voracious metabolism, but I don't go out in the sun. I'm predispositioned towards bipolar and only started experiencing it later in life. Oh, I definitely have had low iron lead to heart palpitations. Yeah, it can be really hard because there's a lot of things that have overlapping symptoms, which is why trying to work with your doctor as much as you can. I mean, what I've done, for example, is I have an Apple Watch and I collect my own personal health data now, and I track what I eat. I make sure I drink enough every day. I know like how many steps I'm taking, my CO2 max, like all these different things. So that if I go to, say, like the ER, and they're like, you know, well, maybe it's just diet or lifestyle related. I'm like, I literally have data to disprove that. So I know this is like a bodily issue and I'm not just like making bad lifestyle decisions. It's really unfortunate, but I think today patients have to kind of be a doctor a little bit, like be a little medically literate. Because once you pull out the medical terminology, they get scared because they're like, oh, wait, hold on. Is this like a fellow nurse or something? And they respect you more. So I think we have to educate ourselves and start collecting our own health data to hold people accountable because, you know, especially when people are tired and kind of used to dismissing people to get through the day, like, you got to fight them a little bit. It's really unfortunate, but until the U.S. healthcare system gets better, we do our best to adapt to what it currently is until it gets better, you know? Yes, the most we can do is our best. And I hope that diagnosing hypothyroidism gets a lot better. But especially subclinical cases are the hardest because it means you have a slight deficiency and it can be hard to pick that up in a test. But for some systems like mine, like a little deficiency is a really big deal for my system. I'm very sensitive. And I meant VO2 max before, not CO2 max, by the way. I mixed up words again. But yeah. Yeah, it's really good to start collecting health data as soon as you can, like ideally when you're healthy, so that like as you age and things do inevitably change, you notice when you fall outside of your own healthy range of anything. Because another thing is like when they do these tests, the ranges they choose to like figure out if a certain level is healthy or not, it's an average. Every body is different. Our biology is all different from person to person based on genetics and other factors, so sometimes the right level for you is actually like not quite average. Like you might be in the higher level or lower level of that spectrum, and it's helpful information to have. Healthcare, at least for now, is not as personalized as it should be. May I ask what your streaming schedule is, more or less? Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 p.m. EST. Schedule is subject to change because I do have hypothyroidism, but that's typically what I stick to, and if the schedule ever changes, I always talk about that on Twitter or Discord usually. I'm most active in Discord though. In fact, let me pull that up for you. So there's my Discord and my social media as well, if you'd like to check that out. Rumuru, thank you for the head pats. Thank you, I appreciate it. But yes, as always, you know, do see your doctor if you have any concerns. And if you have a doctor who dismisses you, find another doctor. I know, like, that's so easy to say. Doctors aren't always as accessible as they should be. But you deserve a medical expert who's, like, gonna listen to you, you know? And if they're not doing that, if they don't have capacity for you, you deserve better. And in cases like mine, you know, dismissing even a tiny thing, like, oh, it's just depression, can be fatal, you know? So make sure you're being respected by your doctor, and if you're not, advocate for yourself. And if you run out of the energy to do it yourself, find someone who can help you, even if it's like a social worker or something. Like, don't give up on yourself. It's really important that we hold the system accountable, because we all deserve to be healthy, and we shouldn't have to suffer just because we're a little different and not like within a doctor's expectations. Because another thing I heard for the longest time is like, you're too young to be having health problems, and I was like, that is literally not scientifically accurate, and you're a doctor telling me that. Like, why would you think that? Like, what about people who are born with genetic conditions? Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Of course you can be unhealthy at any age, or like disabled at any age. Like, what do you mean? That's so, but there's these ideas out there, and people believe them, and then they become doctors, and we gotta challenge that. So yeah, I'm very passionate about this subject. Okay. It's almost 1 a.m. in my area. So now is a good time to share the love. And speaking of which, I want to see I know she's live right now, but let me see. I'm gonna see if Neural will let me raid her. She is sleeping right now, but I feel like it's good timing, because we were talking about her. She connected all of us and helped us meet some really cool people. That feels like it's in the spirit of today's stream. Okay, yeah, I can raid her, yay. Okay. We have our raid messages for subscribers and non-subscribers in the chat, guys, so feel free to copy that so you can say hello. Our community is called the Tofu. It's part of Japanese folklore that sometimes tofu is offered to powerful kitsunes. But don't worry, although you're all my tofu, I always eat my mods first. So you're safe, at least for now. I'll just have to adapt CST time zone to mine. I am from South Africa, so it'll work out a bit different. Ah, I see. I appreciate that. We have viewers from all over the world, and I think it's so cool.
I love you too, random citizen.
Vile, thank you for the follow. And Verdant, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Also, Mirror, thank you for the bot. You can see your future in my forehead if you look closely enough. Ba, ba, ba. All right, guys. We're gonna count down soon. I love you very much. Have a good night. Don't forget to hydrate and take care of yourselves. I love you. Bye bye. Enjoy Neuro's stream.